So right here what I'm doing is I'm using a flat blade screwdriver to catch the edge of the rotor to start to pull up against that caliper so I can start to push in the piston a little bit, and then I switch over to the backside and I grab the edge of the brake pad right there and start to kind of move it in real slow as I pry towards the outside of the vehicle, and I just work my gap, making it bigger and bigger until I can slide the screwdriver down in front of the brake pad more. It doesn't matter if you damage it or not because you're changing the brake pads anyway. And I just keep working it until that piston's pushed in as far as I can get it to go. They have actual piston compressing tools, which I'll link that down in the description or the comment section and the pinned post all the way at the top. I will link the tools that I used in this job there, or something equivalent to it, so you can get this job done. But I'm doing brakes, wiper blades, cabin air filter, and engine air filter, but that's pretty much self-explanatory. You guys should know how to do that. If you don't know how to change your engine air filter on this, it's just a couple clips and then 2 pivot points slide out, and then you slide it all back together with the new filter. Right here there's a couple caps that go on your slide pins for your brake caliper, and they bolt into the actual caliper bracket. So you got to take these caps off the back. They're dust caps in order to get to the 7mm Allen on the inside. This is my master Allen kit from a company called Toolant, T-O-O-L-A-N-T, and I thought it was an 8 at first, but it wasn't an 8. It's actually a 7. I grabbed the wrong one. So you can see they're impact rated, so you can put a power tool on them if you want. And this is me just showing you the back. You can see the little Allen pins. There's the 7mm. I realized I grabbed the wrong one. It's been a while since I've done a brake job on one of these. And yeah, just put it right in there and spin it right out with the 1/2-inch drive. You can see here I grabbed my 1/2-inch drive swivel head ratchet from Mac, or you can use any 1/2-inch drive, and I just break it loose. No problem at all. You can use another 7mm Allen as well. You don't have to use this exact style. This is just what I like to use. These are super convenient. I love the fact that they're impact rated and they're very, very strong for a pretty cheap price, to be honest with you. They're very, very good quality. Got the top one pulled back and or loosened up, and now I'm going to do the same thing with the bottom. I'm working on the driver's side here, so the driver's side to loosen you pull up, on the passenger side to loosen you push down. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. So here just kind of spinning it out, getting as far back as possible until that caliper starts to move. And then what I'll do is I'll grab the caliper and I'll pull it forward towards the rotor, and it will give me some more room to pull that caliper off of there because it pushes the pins back more. And I just kind of set it up top. Just be careful. You can tie it down if you want. I don't necessarily need to. I've done this too many times. And then I switch over to the caliper bracket bolts, which are 18mm, and they have blue Loctite on them. You can put more blue Loctite on if you want when you're done. I don't do that because there's plenty enough left, and they get and then I don't even really torque these down to a torque spec because they're usually like 50-60 foot-pounds. You torque the hell out of it, or you just give them nice and snug, torque them down with that blue Loctite. There's no reason to go putting a torque wrench and stuff on it. You can feel when the bolts are tight, and they're not going to back out with that blue Loctite on there. Luckily this rotor came loose without hitting it with anything, but I show you here there's a method you can use where with a hammer you can hit the face of the rotor if you're going to throw it away. If you're not going to throw it away and you're going to reuse the rotor, then you'd put a block of wood in place of where the impact area is, and you'd hit the wood on the rotor. But you smack the face, then you smack the back, spin it a little bit, smack the face, smack the back. Some of them actually in the actual lug area where the lug nuts go on, in that flat area on the rotor, some of them actually have a threaded area you can put a bolt in and drive a bolt into it, and it helps push it off. Here I'm just showing that you can use different types of cleaning tools. I like using a more aggressive approach. You can use that wire brush and a drill, it's fine. Try to get it as clean as possible, and then tried to set the rotor on. It almost slipped here and I grabbed it. Put the rotor on the hub assembly, get it all the way on there, and then I take a couple lug nuts and center the rotor to the actual lug nuts to make sure that they're completely flush whenever I go to screw them in. And that will keep my rotor pressed up against the hub assembly as I get my brake pads and caliper and bracket and everything on, and I won't have to worry about it kind of kicking sideways and getting in my way. I'm just tapping the side of the rotor to center it on the lug itself while I spin the lug nuts down. Keep moving it back and forth so I can make sure that it's perfectly centered. And then there we go, it's centered. Come over here. Here's the rotor number. These are Duralast Gold, 75014 DG. And the brake pad number is also Duralast Gold, and it has the hardware kit inside it. It is DG1653. Here we're looking at the caliper bracket and those areas on the end right there, the 2 groove channels on each side. I take that abrasive disc or that wire wheel in the drill and I clean out that as much as possible. It doesn't have to be perfect because these fit actually pretty loose tolerance. And then I go ahead and snug that caliper bracket down, tighten it real nice and good. And then I start putting my brake caliper and pad assembly back together. Here you can see I'm just pushing on that outside brake pad with trying to pry behind it with a flathead screwdriver, because some of the outer bank brake pads are glue adhesive ones that stick to the caliper. You have to pry them off, but these aren't the ones going back on. These just sit in there. Then you push the inside piston side brake pad in the piston. Then you kind of line up your pins, make sure everything fits real nice, and then I pull the pins back out and I actually go ahead and grease the pins with some ceramic Permatex brake slide. It's the only part that I actually put grease on. It's just the slide pins. Nothing else needs it. It doesn't come from the factory that way. I'm not putting it back together that way like that. There's the silicone ceramic extreme slide pin grease that I put on there. And then this is me just kind of setting them back inside that slide port that it goes through the brake caliper. I just get them in there, try to feel around. There it is. It got seated. Now I'm just going to go ahead and snug these up. These you don't have to get real crazy with these. I think these are only like 20-25 foot-pounds of torque. So I just snug them up real good. I don't try to get crazy and He-Man them in there. Yeah. And again, just pretty clean cut and dry. I need 2 hands for this outside bracket piece that kind of helps take up the slack of the caliper. It's a flat bridge piece that goes on the outside, and I'm going to point to it here in a second and show you how I kind of put it on there. Let me get it put on there first, and then I'm going to bring the camera over like right now. And I get the bottom set in, and as I'm pushing the top ear in and the long bridge that goes to the end, I pull it over and try to push it in, but I also keep pressure on the center, and it all just snaps right in. And then that's what it looks like all put together. So then I put my dust caps back on, do the same process to the other side, and now we're moving on to the wiper blades. This is just me showing you one-handed doing this while recording. I push the back wings in, slide it up forward, just gently let the wiper blade down to touch the glass. You can put a rag underneath it if you want. Then on these Duralast flexes, you got to pop the top off of, it's a 26 and a 28 inch blade. You got to pop the top off and put the right fitting on. So I take a flat blade screwdriver, I put it under the back, I pull up, take the OE one off, and then I take the number 4 in the package, the clip, and I snap it back on that spot where it goes. But it's got to go on there a certain way, because if you look, there's an indicator on the wiper blade that points down towards the windshield. So I show you here in a second exactly what those indicators are supposed to look like. I snap that number 4 piece in there like so, and then now let's go over to the car and put it on the car. Again, one-handed. Slide the back wings in. You got to slide the back wings in up behind the slot before the front. So start your back ones in the grooves, and then push, while keeping them in the groove, push forward and slip it up over the front tongue, and it snaps right in. I'm trying to focus, but I'm trying to get more. There we go. You see the back ones, they go up in the groove like that, and then you just slightly push forward. There it is, it snapped in. Back groove sit in first, and then the snap from the front groove is second. And we're going to do the other side as well here. Same process, one-handed. You'll see it's not that hard once you get the hang of it. There we go. I push the 2 back tabs in. I tip the thing forward, wiper blade comes off, I gently put it back down. You can put a rag under it if you want. I've learned my lesson before. I've had to replace windshields because I forgot and left it up and then it flipped down on me. So now I make sure I gently put them down. Again, here we go. We're going to go ahead and pry this piece off the end, just like before. And then we're going to put our number 4 piece in. This is me just kind of fidgeting around, getting it together, trying to make sure that I'm orienting the yellow tab on the end of the wiper blade towards the windshield wiper area and down. It points towards the glass in the down position, so you got to make sure you snap your piece of plastic in the right way. So I get it snapped in, and let's go over to the car. You can see here how, let's get the back grooves set in first, just like before. We got those pushed in, or we got those set in the little channel behind, and now we're going to put pressure forward. It snaps right in like so. Now your wiper blades are installed. To take them off, you would push the front on these actually and pull them backwards in this style. Where the other ones I could push the rear tabs in, these you don't want to do that. Now I'm going to go ahead and get inside the car, pump up the brake pedal from doing the brake job, move it back a little bit so I can sit sideways over in the passenger side floorboard area to take the glove box out so I can change the cabin air filter in this thing as well. I'll go ahead and start it up, back up the vehicle, give myself enough room to work on the other side outside of the stall just a little bit, and then we'll get over and get started on the cabin air filter area. Here we are. Pull the vent forward, unsnap it. There's a couple 7mm on top. There's 2 right there, 1, 2 on the bottom. There's 2 more, but somebody didn't put 1 back in. I snapped that little side piece off to give myself the room to get it off of there. On the bottom, not there. I was feeling for where they're at. That's not it. That's for a knee bolster airbag. That's not what you want. I get down and show you exactly where it is, because that didn't feel right to me when I was feeling down there. I was recording the wrong area. So close the glove box and go back up, or get down underneath and look in the very far corners. There is a 7mm there, and then on the other side somebody didn't put the 7mm back in, but it goes in the corner very, very far over there next to the knee bolster above it, and that wasn't put back in. So luckily I had a 7mm over in my box that I put in there. This is, again, I went back to that Toolant kit. I got my magnetic 7mm, goes on my impact driver. Love this set. It has everything, metric, standard. It's really nice. It's got different 1/4 inch, 3/8, 1/2 inch bits that go in there as well. So the magnet, they're nice. They're not super strong. It's nice to put it in there and go back together, but to pull it out, they could be a little stronger. But I really, really, really like this set. This is me just showing you that it does magnetize. It's just not quite as strong as I'd like it to be, but it fits great. Absolutely great. Go ahead and pull that bottom screw out of there, and then you would pull the other one out of the other side. But again, like I said, somebody did not put that screw back in. And then you start working around the box, pulling straight back. You don't pull up or down, just straight back towards you, and then it pops right out just like that. And then, yeah, that I'm pointing there saying that there was no screw put in there. And then you just push these wings back on each side of the cabin air filter, and then fold the door down, and that's how you open this up. So you push back there, and then push back on the other side, and use your other hand to pull the door down. So I had to pause and do that, because you need 2 hands to do it. And then you pull down. So I pull it down like that. Watch the direction of airflow, which is down in the downward position. There's an arrow on the side of it right here. It says airflow down. That is a dirty, dirty, dirty cabin air filter. Somebody hasn't been doing their maintenance. Yeah, so it's one of those things where here's a CAF 1908P from STP. Airflow down, just like the original one had in there. And we're going to go ahead and take this thing, put it back in. Just nice and easy, just press it in there. No problems there, fits nice. Snap your door back up when you're done. Now we're going to go ahead and fold our door up, snap it in. Make sure there's no debris and stuff in the area. Snap, snap. Now we can go ahead and put our glove box back together. Snap everything back in nice and flush. So here I'm going to show you, there's directions in the box if you want to use it. It was actually directions, I think, for this car. I didn't need it because I've done this before. There's 6 tabs, 2 on the bottom, 2 on the sides, 2 on the sides, and you just slide right in. But you do it straight. Don't do it on an angle. Just line them up straight and then just press the box in. There you go. Put your screws in the top and the bottom. And then you're going to switch over to snapping your side panel in. And then once you're done snapping your side panel in, you're going to switch over to putting your vent in. Yes, I should have been wearing gloves, but this is a trade-in vehicle. It needs to go to detail anyway, and there was nothing from my hands that was actually getting transferred over onto the material. So normally I would be wearing gloves in a customer's car. But again, here we go back to the tools that I used. Very impressed with this Toolant kit. I told you some of the other tools, a 19mm socket for the lug nuts. This Toolant kit is metric, standard, short, deep, all impact driver rated, some magnetized. Just an awesome kit. And then show you the Toolant Allen set, metric and standard as well. Love these kits. They're very strong, very versatile, and yeah, I couldn't say. Appreciate you guys watching. Thank you for entertaining the idea of looking at these tools. And again, check them out. Great tool, budget friendly, especially new guys starting out in the industry. You would love these. They'd last you for years and years and years, and you'd never need to replace them. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks for this watching this longer maintenance video. Is this something you guys would like more of? More of this multiple maintenance things in one video instead of different videos? Or how would you like this broke down? Thank you. And the voiceover stuff, is that okay? Because I tried to cut out as much noise in the shop as possible.